Hey there, it's CJ Willie and I'm cracking a pack. Today it's pack number 3 in my Magic the Gathering Gatecrash Fat Pack. Once again, I'm doing Fat Pack Bingo. Check out the preview video on my Gatecrash Fat Pack. I've added the link to the preview video in the description below. So, I've got my bingo card here, and last video I got a skull crack and a free space. So today it's possible I could get bingo with pulling any of the rare primordials in the set. So let's move our bingo card out of the way and get pack number 3. So still have 3 through 9 here. We'll get pack number 3 and move this out of the way. Let's scroll, let's go in a little bit. Okay, as I review the pack, I'm going to be really focused on talking about the cards from a very casual, let me stress casual, Magic the Gathering player point of view. I don't play too much in the way of Friday Night Magic or any Pro Tour stuff. It's mainly just my friends and I having some kitchen table magic. All right, first card is 10th Street Market. It's 5 mana, 4 and a red. It's an enchantment ore, enchant land. Enchanted land has tap, discard a card, draw a card. So, I mean, in red, this could have some utility in that, late game you could rummage. But in red, more than likely, you are out of cards in your hand, so you just discard nothing, and you wouldn't be able to draw anything. Next is Dutiful Thrall. A single white mana, it's a Thrall at a 1/1. You can pay a single black, regenerate Dutiful Thrall. So similar card came out in Khans of Tarkir as well. Kind of a perpetual blocker as long as you've got, you're playing Orzhov. Next is Cloudfin Raptor, single blue mana. It's a creature, bird mutant. It's a 0/1. It has flying and evolve. This is one of my favorite commons from Gatecrash. I've played it in a number of decks. It's a relatively easy creature to evolve. You play it for a single blue mana. Pretty much every creature thereafter is going to evolve it. In some games I've been able to get it evolved twice, so it's a 2/3. There's been games I've been able to get it to evolve as a 3/4, especially if I'm playing like blue-green and I've got a bunch of bigger creatures. Next is Predator's Rapport. It's 3 mana, 2 and a green. It's an instant. Choose target creature you control. You gain life equal to that creature's power plus its toughness. Gain life card, in green it's possible, you play it on 5/5, you gain 10 life, but it's not a card that I want to play. Next is Psychic Strike. So our first duplicate common thus far in only 3 packs. 3 mana, 1 generic, 1 blue, 1 black, instant, counter target spell. Its controller puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So as I said previously, I have played this in a blue-black mill deck where I could counter a spell and then get a couple of cards to mill. Currently, I only play a mono blue mill deck, so not much is going on with Psychic Strike. Kingpin's Pet, 3 mana, 1 generic, 1 white, 1 black. It's a Thrall at 2/2. It's a flyer with Extort, so we already covered the Extort mechanic. A 2/2 flyer for 3 isn't bad, and kind of having a stapled on Extort mechanic where, you're going to get a life loss out of it. They lose life, you gain life. It can be kind of nifty. Active Treason, so our second duplicate common thus far. It's 3 mana. It's 2 and a red sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. So, one of those threat and effect cards. Active Treason is pretty much your base, threat and card. Forced Adaptation, single green, enchantment ore, enchant creature at the beginning of your upkeep. Put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. So we're seeing a little bit of duplication already just 3 packs into our fat pack. Forced Adaptation is another card that I like to play. I've played it in a Hardened Scales deck where, instead of just getting 1/1+ counter each turn, it's getting 2 because of Hardened Scales. Nav Squad Commandos, 5 mana, 4 and a white, human soldier at 3/5, has a battalion. Whenever Nav Squad Commandos and at least 2 other creatures attack, Nav Squad Commandos gets +1/+1 until end of turn, untap it. So we get the first look at the battalion mechanic in Boros. Basically, battalion is you've got to have 3 creatures attacking. One of them needs to be a creature that has a battalion. You can have multiple battalion creatures attacking. Boros was a very aggressive deck in Gatecrash, red-white deck. No surprise there when we're seeing some very aggressive red-white decks lately Ikoria had a red-white aggressive deck. Nav Squad Commandos, though, is not a card that you play in a Pioneer constructed deck. Sage Rose Denizen, 3 mana, 2 and a blue. It's a Veldakin Wizard. 2/3. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So Dimir had a lot of milling effect in Gatecrash. It didn't work out so well. Our first uncommon is Dying Wish, 2 mana, 1 and a black. It's an enchantment or enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature dies, target player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is its power. I haven't really ever played Dying Wish. I don't know that I've really had a desire to. I suppose in a sacrifice deck, like an Aristocrats deck, you could do that. But you're not going to have too much of a life swing, because in the Aristocrats deck, you're dealing with 2/2s, maybe 1/2s, 1/1s, not too much of a swing. And you don't want to really waste a card like this just so that it will die. Next is Ground Assault, 1 red, 1 green sorcery. Ground Assault deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. Now this is an uncommon I do like. Unfortunately it is sorcery, but typically in a red-green deck you're going to have lots of lands. So later on in the game, this could be dealing like 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Even earlier in the game, it can at least do 2 damage at sorcery speed. Not a tremendous card, but thus far it would probably be my favorite card out of the pack. Our final uncommon is Undercity Informer, 3 mana, 2 and a black. It's a human rogue at 2/3. For 1 generic, you can sacrifice a creature. Target player reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land, then puts those cards into his or her graveyard. No, I mean, this could have repeatable mill effect if you have a lot of creatures. The problem is, in anyone's deck, within the first 3 cards, you're going to hit a land. It's going to be very rare that you're going to go more than 3 cards deep. So sacrificing a creature to go mill 3 is not quite where I want to be. So this isn't a card that I really want to feature. I suppose in Limited it could do some stuff, but no, I'm out on this one. Okay, will we get a really cool rare or a mythic rare? We have Ooze Flux. So 4 mana, 3 and a green. It's an enchantment. For 1 and a green, you can remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control and put an XX green ooze creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters removed this way. So part of the Simic mechanic, where you had a lot of +1/+1 counters floating around because of Evolve, if you had 3 or 4 counters on a single creature, say you played Forced Adaptation, by about turn 3 or 4, you removed those counters. For 2 mana, you could get a 4/4, ooze creature token. I tried this early on in the Return to Ravnica kind of Innistrad block, and then Return to Ravnica Theros standard block. I can never get it to work. I suppose that there's some really cool shenanigans out there. Maybe it's a commander staple, but this is not a rare that I'm too excited to play. And then we have an island and an ad card. So out of this pack, my favorite card is probably going to be a common. Yeah, none of the uncommons really excite me. I mean, a Ground Assault could be an uncommon that I'm somewhat excited to play, but Cloudfin Raptor was a card that I've played quite frequently in a number of different decks, and I currently feature in a blue-green deck, like I said, where I've got a lot of creatures entering the battlefield. It's relatively easy to evolve Cloudfin Raptor and then winning me the game. So it's, unfortunately, none of the uncommons or rares are really exciting, so it has to be a common. And in this case, Cloudfin Raptor is a great common to have. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comments section what was your favorite card or the best card out of the pack. Until next time, when I'm back to crack pack number 4 for my Magic the Gathering Gatecrash Fat Pack in Fat Pack Bingo.